Death is like the wind, always by my side.
What's up, guys? In today's video, I thought we would do another one of these what to build videos. We haven't done one in like 10 patches, I think, or somewhere along those lines. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are getting confused, which kind of makes sense because the builds, there is no one good build. So I will try to explain it the best I can because, again, it is not very simple. It's not just, oh, go shield blow IE, you know? So I'll try to get into it. So first starting items, obviously D-Blade, D-Shield. Just D-Blade if you want more damage, D-Shield if you want more sustain. I'm not going to tell you, oh, you're against Azir, you have to take D-Shield. If the Azirs in your elo, let's say you're playing in like Silver, are just really bad, they don't poke, take the D-Blade, just ego it, you know? So obviously just judge it based on what elo you're in and like how you think what you're going to need. If you don't need the D-Shield in your elo, don't do it. Okay, in higher elo, obviously you're going to want the D-Shield. Then one potion, obviously, and then Berserker Use. Okay, now we get to the first item. There's two items for the first. Either Kraken or Bork. I think anything else is kind of trouble. Like a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, Tempest, what about Shiv Rush? What about PD Rush?" I think those are awful. PD a little bit better than Shiv, but again, I mean, I just don't think it's very good. Like, what do those give you compared to Kraken and Bork? You know, there's a reason why almost everyone, for like 1 or 2 Yasuo players, go Kraken and Bork for item. Yeah. Kraken for when you're not against HP stackers, and then Bork when you're against HP stackers. Or if you're against, like, fighters, and you want, like... Because Bork is obviously a better first item, like, just stronger first. The lifesteal, the dueling potential. So obviously if you're against tanks, it's really good. Or let's say you're playing, like, top lane into an Irelia. Then I would say Bork is good for that, to match her Bork, you know? But if you're not against that, they don't really have any HP stackers, then Kraken is just a lot more solid. Way better than the squishies, too, because they crit. Okay, now second item, this is where it gets a little complicated. I'll try to explain the best I can because there is no like right, oh, you go this, you know? It used to be like systematic, be like this, best build. But now there's just like options. So it's really up to you and like what you're versing in the game. Like every game is different. So I'll try again to explain the best I can. So after you pick one of these items, then usually what I do with Kraken builds is IE second. Just really solid after the buff, so much damage, and it's just insane. But in some games, you don't need to go IE second. Let's say you're against a Zed Evelyn or something like that. Why would you need that much damage, right? So for that game, you could either go like Iceborne second, you can go Even Shroud. I know that one sounds weird. Shield Bow. So yeah, if you don't need the extra damage, go one of the more defensive options. Or if you don't really like defensive options, you can go Bloodthirster just for the lifesteal. Because that's still a lot of damage, but it gives you the lifesteal. So again, it's all up to preference. Because there's high elo Yasuos that go Kraken IE every game, which I think Pzzzang has been doing every game. And there's like EU Yasuos like Brohan, who I see goes Kraken Bloodthirster almost every game. And there's someone on the NA ladder that goes Kraken BT. So yeah, it's like Kraken BT is fine, Kraken IE is fine. Both completely valid. When it comes to these items, Iceborne, you're rarely gonna build, in my opinion. I mean, I don't think I ever build this item. It's just not really that good. I just put it on here just in case you're like an all AD maybe. So like Bork into Iceborne, maybe not too bad, but a lot of people don't like tank mythics. And then there's Even Shroud. So Even Shroud has just recently got more popularity. I'm still not really liking the item that much. I feel like the carry potential with this is a lot lower. But yeah, if you're gonna go this item, it's usually Bork first, always, into Even Shroud. It's just a more like utility based and like lower cost build. So personally, I don't like it. But if you want to try it out, definitely go for it. But again, it's just a lot less damage, a lot less carry, so I don't really see it being good or the option lower elo games where you need a 1v9, you know? Yeah, this would be for mid lane. You would never do this top lane. The top lane variant of going Even Shroud would be Hullbreaker. The reason why Hullbreaker mid is not good because you're constantly going to be grouping as a mid laner. So Hullbreaker only for top lane, and you can do it with Kraken or Bork. It's completely fine. And then yeah, we already went over Shield Bow. Want a more defensive option, but not a pure defensive option like these items, you know? Yeah, again, just to give another rundown. I know it's like kind of confusing. I'm trying to explain it best I can for you guys to understand. If you're against like a lot of squishies that aren't tanky at all, go for the Shield Bow, Iceborne, some with defensibility. And if you're against like more damage, like bruisers, tanks, where you need that damage, IE or Bloodthirster. Or you could just Giga Chad, go crack an IE every game if you like a lot of damage. I think Pzzzang does it. I've been doing. Okay, so after you build your first two items, again, there's a lot of different orders as we went over. Now comes the third item. So your third item is gonna be based on what you went with your first two, because obviously some of them overlap. Like, I think the only one that overlaps is Shield Bow. So yeah, Shield Bow third. That is the main build that Pzzzang. Kraken, i.e. Shield Bow, which in my opinion, I don't like. I think he just wants the lifesteal. But in my opinion, that build's really awkward. I think if you're going to go Kraken, i.e. Sterix is just a better option. 450 health, plus the massive shield, a little bit less damage, and you don't get the lifesteal, but I think the defensibility just makes up for it, you know? So, yeah. Sterix is just a very solid item. You're going, yeah, if they just have like a perfect like AP plus 80, like if you don't want to like pick between one resist, right? They have like 3 AD, 2 AP. Sterix is just the best of both worlds, you know? So what I've been doing most games is Kraken, i.e. Sterix. Also, there is Gale Force. Obviously, we can't go Gale Force if we went IE, because it's a thick. For this item, this item. So the only time you would really go Gale Force is if you went like Kraken Bork first into Bloodthirster or Shield Bow, and then you can go Gale. So Gale would be for those games where, again, you don't need the extra damage from like an IE, you already have enough damage, and you just want that gap close. That gap close into like a Fed's area. A Fed's area which you can't get onto, and if you get onto her, you one-shot her. Then obviously the gap close is very good, which again, the EU Yasuo main Brohan lots. Personally, I don't like Gale Force. I don't really like the one-time usage. But yeah, you could definitely try it out. He does it. He finds success with it. Personally, I don't like it. I just like the flat-out damage from IE or tankiness. Another solid third item is Death Stance. Let's say they have like 4 AD, and you don't want to go Sterix, you could just go Death Stance. Death Stance is a really OP item, always a staple on Yone, so very, very good. Next we have Shield Bow. We already talked a little bit about. Personally, I'm not sold on it, but again, thing does it, so try it out if you want. Want to go Kraken IE into Shield Bow? Again, I just feel like you're too squishy with that build, but try it out. And these last two items, Wits End and Maw, obviously these would only be good as a third item if you're against like 4 AP, which really never happens. So it's really rare, but if you're against those like full AP games, get that mantle early and just buy one of these fourth, and you're probably going to be invincible. Usually, at least in high elo, people play like 2 AP champs max, so I never see myself building these items. And then some final items, the situational in like any build, that are just always solid. Again, we have Shield Bow. I mean, if you just want the shields, I guess, whatever. Honestly, we could probably take this out. If this is in your first three items, you're probably not doing it. Okay. Final items, GA. I mean, just solid. You get another life. There's that one team fight. Let's get inside the game. May as well just build that GA. It's very, very solid. Next, we have Visage. It just got buffed. It synergizes very well. Just try to make sure you have some lifesteal in your build when you're going this. So probably like if you went Bork or Kraken Bloodthirster, Death Stance, Visage would be repair really well with that, especially if you have like a Soraka, Janna, Ivern, something like that, because it's gonna boost the shields a lot more. Make you very, very tanky. This is probably the tankiest MR item in the game, as long as you have shields and healing. Then you just have Bloodthirster. If for some reason you didn't go at second, which you don't have to, you just end it with like end your build with a Bloodthirster. It wouldn't be bad. I guess the 5th or 6th item. Probably 5th. Don't really want to sell boots. So yeah, it's just solid. A lot of damage, a lot of lifesteal. Always good, just like Death Stance. Next we have Randuin's. This is a really rare item. You could even build this third sometimes. It's really rare that you're gonna build it though. You're only gonna build it if they have an 80 carry that builds crit, plus you're against like a Yasuo, Yone, or Tryndamere, right? So 2 to 3 crit users, Randuin has a lot of value. Don't build it against just one though, because other items are just better. Then we have Force of Nature if you feel like you need that movement speed. This is better on Yasuo, not really as much as Yone, because Yone doesn't really speed. But yeah, if you didn't build any lifesteal in your build, you don't have any heals on your team, Force of Nature just has to be better. Or the same MR and the movement speed just gonna outvalue the healing and shielding that you'll have in your build, right? Okay, now for the last 4 items. Sword Mail, I can't really remember the last time I built this item ever, but I mean, if you need anti-heal and no one on your team built it, and you don't want to build Mortal, want some armor, I guess you could build it. Again, this is probably like almost never, but there are scenarios, some games, that maybe it's useful. Deadman's very similar to Force of Nature if you need that movement speed. But again, I feel like Death Stance, GA, Randuin's are usually better, but there are some angles that this is good. Again, only if you need the movement support. My last two, Black Cleaver, another super rare item. Better on Yasuo for sure, because Yone does a lot of magic true damage. Only really go this if they're like all AD and not a single person on your team built Black Cleaver. I think it's pretty solid. But again, there's just better items. And lastly, Silver Mare Dawn. If you're gonna build QSS, obviously you want to build QSS in like Malzahar, Skarner, champions that just have no counterplay. Like, if you need to like 1v9 the fight and you're scared of getting Malzahar ulted, just pay the tax, hit QSS, and always finish it into this item. It is way more tankiness than Scimitar. So yeah, it's just a better Scimitar. Okay, I'm just adding this. For fun, low key could be good. I haven't tried it personally, but like I could just imagine. Let's say you have Kraken IE, and you're against like all assassins, and like no tank item is really gonna save you from like getting one shot. Or let's say you're against like a Rek'Sai plus, well, what's something that one shots you? Rek'Sai Lysandra or something. Where there's like no counterplay. Maybe you could just pick up Dustblade, go in, one shot someone, and then be invincible. I'm not really too sure. Again, this would be better on Yasuo, not really Yone, because Yone just eased out. But yeah, maybe like Yasuo just goes in, ults everyone, gets a kill, and then he's invincible. So I haven't really tried it. I kind of want to try it. Maybe I try it soon. But yeah, could be a possibility. Oh yeah, no. Shiv is awful. I don't know how many times I have to say this. Shiv is not a good item. It is only a good item if you are building AP after this item. I know there is a build. They were going I think they even played in LCK. They went Shiv Yone into Even Shroud. I kind of vomited. It was just it can't be good. No, just don't go that item, please. Kraken is just so much better, or Borg. And now just some rough copies of potential builds. Obviously, this is not going to be every single game, and as I said, there are options. But these are like the mainish builds if you want to try. So potential Bork build, Bork, Even Shroud. You can substitute this if you don't want to go Even Shroud. I'm not forcing you to. This is just the most popular Bork build at the moment, so it's just flavor of the month. But yeah, obviously if you don't want to do this in low elo, understandable. You're gonna skip this, go Shield Bow into Bloodthirster, and then go like a Tang Mythic or something, Jack Show. And then Death Dance. But yeah, don't feel like you have to try it. Or don't feel like you have to do it every game, but definitely give it a try. If you hate it, like I kind of don't like it, don't do it. And then potential Kraken build. Kraken, IE, Sterix, Death Dance. This is what I've been doing almost every game. This last item doesn't really count because almost every challenger ends for 5 items. So almost every game I've just been doing Kraken, IE, Sterix, Death Dance. But you don't have to be doing this every single game, as I said. If you don't need this much damage, you can not do the IE, and you can go like a Bloodthirster into like a tankier mythic or so. See, that's what's awkward though, because there's no like really good mythic if you're not going IE. You know, besides like Even Shroud, I guess. I guess you could go like Gale Force instead of IE at that point, because the dash would just be better. You're already like overkilling the damage, or just like a tank mythic, or even Triforce, I guess. But I'm kind of a Triforce hater because the poop walk also does. But yeah, and then Sterix is just a solid third item. You could replace Sterix with Death Dance if they're all AD. Replace Sterix with Wits End if they're all AP. If they're in the middle, go Sterix, and then Death Dance. And if you went Death Dance third, then you could just go Sterix fourth, you know? And honestly, last time you could probably go Bloodthirster if you don't want to go a tank item. So, yeah, again, I tried to explain this the best I can. I feel like it is kind of like sloppy, but I tried to lay it out as best I could, because this is probably the most build diversity that Yasuo and Yone have been. So yeah, I tried my best. I think I covered most of the items that are good. So again, there is no one build that is the best build. There is no Shilbo Ai Distance. You gotta use your brain. Think, do I need damage? Build damage items. Do I need lifesteal because they have poke? You build some lifesteal. Are they tanky? Go Bork. Don't go one build every single game. I don't want to see people going Kraken IE into a Zed Evelyn. No, you don't need that damage, okay? So yeah, just try to think more when you're in game in Champ Select and plan out your build from there. Yeah, I hope this video helped. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. And there'll be a Yasuo one soon. So yeah, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.